my clients come to me and they're like, what do you think's going to happen here? I'm scared. I feel like, my portfolio, I'm gonna lose the money I worked so hard for. Like, what do I do?
Uncertainty feels different now. What once seemed unusual in the markets and economy increasingly looks like the new normal, and many people are still hoping things will, go back to how they felt before 2020, COVID, and here we are. So I just wanted to say, like, let's talk about it. And you all know, my name is Michael Liersch. I'm the Chief Planning Officer for Edelman Financial Engines, and I'm a behavioral scientist. So my favorite is talking about how people think, feel about money. And within that context, I'm so excited to have a great financial planner with us at Edelman Financial Engines, Jaci Iannello. She and I have gotten to know each other and actually had the chance to hang out over dinner recently where we talked about this exact idea. Where are people at? They want to go back to the future and feel better about things. Things just don't feel quite right now. And so she has a really cool, unique perspective on that. And so let's get into it. I do want to let you know JC is a bit of a football fan, so you might hear her talk in a little bit of football terms, punting, moving it down the field. So JC, why don't you tell everyone what you're about, who you are, how long you've been a planner, and ultimately maybe share who your favorite football team is.
Oh, well, we'll start with the last first because that's the easiest. Go Birds, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully they get it together here. They got a big win the other day. So, um, I've been in the industry about 11 years now. I've been with Edelman. Speaking of COVID, I've been with Edelman for about 5 years. I started just before we all left the office, which was like a weird time to start at the firm. Um, I I'm a financial planner here. I love what I do, and one of the reasons I really like what I do is just because I feel like it's such an immense amount of trust that someone gives you when they come to talk to you, and really, I feel like, hey, like you're about to spill your guts here, right? Tell me all the secrets. Um, but it's a safe place, and I really appreciate the trust you have in me. So it's a really cool relationship that we get to build with our clients here. So
And I just wanted you to kind of hang out with me, chill out with me, kind of like we did at dinner when I was visiting you in Orange County, a couple weeks back, and just tell our listeners and our viewers, what you're seeing, from different types of clients about the uncertainty that a lot of people feel out there right now, whether it's bubbles or recessions or markets going up and down, what people call volatility, whatever that is. Like what are the vibes you're getting from different types of human beings? Because what we want to start doing is normalizing that for our listeners and our viewers so that they can get the advice they need on their terms, where they're at. So what's your data dump there?
I think typically people have felt like maybe we're heading in the right direction, and maybe it comes around like, oh, they felt like movements were making sense, like they could afford things, and maybe their perceptions of where we were headed were making sense to them, and the markets then were also going up, so it was all kind of jiving together. But when you mix a feeling of uncertainty and being scared and markets going up, then, my clients come to me and they're like, what do you think's going to happen here? I'm scared. I feel like my portfolio, I'm gonna lose the money I worked so hard for. Like, what do
Oh,
I
I see.
do?
Right.
Right?
Like the
How do I
rise is
plan for
temporary
this?
or it's just about to change. I see.
Exactly. Like they need to do something because something's going to happen, but they don't know what. And it's me coming into it and trying to bring us back to a financial plan, right? Like, hey, we've talked about this. We knew times like this would come. We knew we knew it's not going to always be all rainbows and butterflies.
I like rainbows and
We
butterflies.
knew,
I really do.
right? Right? Like you use words like this, and then it can bring a level of just kind of taking a step back on it, right? It's we knew it would come, and here's how we planned for it, right? We ran these scenarios and we stress test your plan, and we made sure that you're diversified, and we made sure that you had cash reserves, and you're going to be okay, right? Let me show you why. And I think that's how I like to work with my clients in that kind of situation. I always tell my clients, I'm like, please don't just like watch the news and be scared alone. Like just please call me if you're feeling scared, if you're feeling uncertain like this. And they take me up on it, and I think that's where I can offer a lot of help with a time like this, where we can just kind of talk about it together, and help them make sense of it a little bit. It's tough, definitely. I think about that, and I think it's about just trying to um, understand kind of what you want in life, really fleshing and articulating that out, saving money in different ways. It's about chipping away at each priority based off of a horizon of how you want to achieve it. Putting together a plan. I know for me, and I know for a lot of my clients, when we start to really kind of articulate, this is where you're at, and this is where you want to be, and here are the steps we can take that actually are concrete towards your goal. It's about getting that confidence around, okay, like, if this is where I want to be, this is what I have to do, and maybe I can do that, right? So it's I think I think for when you kind of map that out for people, it really adds a clarity or a confidence, hopefully. But yeah, it's everything's kind of going up, so it's important to really have those conversations to see how we can achieve the goals you want.
I like that because when you think of goals, right? They sometimes that feels like a amorphous or like, you know,
Mhm.
I don't know, like concept that's hard to really think about. Especially, I remember like my younger self, like what is it that I want to accomplish? So if you think of like buying that car or that house or, the life you want to live, I like this idea of just like working with someone like a professional, like a family member, whomever it is, a friend, a spouse, a partner, somebody you trust, just like get it down on paper and like really think what is the most important stuff
Mhm.
that I want to be doing now and maybe a little bit later rather than trying to solve it all at once. I like that idea, JC, because then it really kind of takes the energy level to a better place, which is like what's more essential versus what's not as like essential or important to solve for. And then you don't feel like you have to do it all at once. Cause I think there's a narrative out there, it's like you watch, to your point, TV or you're on, you know, social media. And I know people use that generically, but it's just true. I have a 16-year-old daughter, and the narrative out there is like all these people getting rich quick, sell some tennis shoes and your life will be easy, like whatever that is. And what you're saying is that's not your advice. Your advice is like put it down on paper, talk it out, figure out what matters, and then just make incremental progress. Am I getting it right for like that younger audience? Let's move to what we like to do on the podcast, JC, is really say, okay, so here are the things that clients and people are saying to you, and what do I
Mhm.
do about it specifically? And so when you think about the specifics around getting things down on paper, you alluded to a plan, things like owning a lot of different things so they move in different directions, in good and bad times so that you make incremental progress. You're not necessarily trying to hit the cover off the ball, right? And make, quadrillion, dollars, right? You're just trying to be okay here. What does that look like? Like, what should people do if you're going to humanize it and say, okay, young, old, more money, less money, working, not working,
Mhm.
whatever that looks like. Um, what should
Mhm.
people do now?
I think the biggest thing when I meet with people, and it's not like fun or exciting, I tell people, but like it's really helpful for me to understand what does okay look like. What does that mean? Because it's different for each person. And what does okay mean is like, what do you want your life to look like? How much money do we need each month? Like, what do you want to do in the future? Let's like actually put concrete numbers on things, concrete
Do people
ideas.
get stressed out,
Um,
JC? Because I'm thinking to myself, those are like really, when you say them out loud like that, they feel
yeah.
like I should know that. And even like I'm like our
Oh,
chief planning officer, and I'm like, how much money do I need every month? And what do I want my future to look like? And I think to myself, if I were be put on the spot, like I might freeze a little bit. Like, how do you get past that?
yeah. Well, the good thing is like, right, you don't have to figure it out on your own. I can absolutely help. A family member can help. A planner can help. Um, but yeah, I'll say this, right? I work with physicians, I work with tradespeople, I work with engineers, and a lot of times they don't know how much they spend each month. So that's very normal. It's okay.
So these are like very
But like,
data
let's figure it out.
driven, like, yeah,
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
procedural people, like,
You should see the
analytic.
spreadsheets they make.
Okay, all
It's
right. So they have
incredible.
all these spreadsheets and they still don't know. So that actually makes
It's like I never knew you could do that with Excel.
okay.
But even even they don't sometimes know how much they spend or like where it's all going.
We
And
have our
it's
spreadsheet at home. I will admit, we do have
oh, there you go. That's good. That's good. That's good. My husband handles our spreadsheet.
that.
He's
Okay.
really into the spreadsheet. He loves it. Then we look at it together.
Yes, yes, yes. Gotta love the spreadsheet. So before we kind of close it out, uh, maybe you could give, and I love this idea of like how much do I need and what I want the future to look like. It's like the present and then the future self, which in behavioral
Mhm.
science, so our listeners and viewers know I'm a behavioral scientist, JC, so they know I like to dork out on that stuff. So what's just give people a sense of like, I think people feel nervous about like what they need because they feel like, you know, is that normal? Is it not normal? Like, am I like
Mhm.
spending or wanting too much now? Or like, am I misbehaving now? Right. There's like a lot of embarrassment, fear, concern there. So throw out some things you hear. Like, do people need like, you know, $10 million a month? Do they need $5 a month? Is it just all over the place? Like, what do you hear? What's normal?
It's all over the place.
Okay.
It's funny you say that because I do get that question sometimes where it's like I don't know, maybe it's like a sense of perhaps guilt or maybe just like not understanding or where they feel like maybe they should have more or should need more or shouldn't need more. I think it's very dependent. Like I have some clients that want to live a certain kind of life and they want $20,000 to $25,000 a month. And then I have other clients where they want to live a certain kind of life and they don't need that much a month. So I think both of those are great. And I think both of those make a lot of sense. And I think that comes down to just us being individuals as humans and how we envision our life to be. But taking those kind of exercises to kind of see what expenses look like really give us a lot of uh, light on what that life should be. So it's a tough answer. Like it really just kind of depends.
I love that.
Not a great answer,
No,
but
it's
it
it's
is
it's
the
actually the
answer.
perfect answer from my lens because what you're saying ultimately is it really is up to the person to decide whether the money that they're using today is aligned with how they want to be using it. JC, thank you so much for being here with our audience and sharing, your thoughts, your feelings, and ultimately how you talk to your clients and what they're sharing with you during these interesting and sometimes challenging times. We really appreciate it. Any last words for our audience, especially like one thing that you feel like they should do or be focused on this year?
Good question. Well, thanks so much for having me, Michael. I appreciate it. It's good to see you again. Had a lot of fun the other day, so it's fun to connect again with you.
Awesome.
I guess one takeaway is I know it's so hard to do, but try not to get stuck on the day to day and short term headlines in the news. Easier said than done, but keep the big picture in mind here.
Love it. Framing. And for those of you who hear me talk about Nobel Prize winning concepts, a Nobel Prize winning concept. So, frame things in a way that will get you to where you want to go, which is, to your point, those moment to moment things, really put it in the context of your broader life. And with that, thank you, JC. We'll close us out. I'm Michael Liersch. This is Money on Your Mind, and we hope to see you next time. The views expressed are not necessarily those of this station. Information is believed to be reliable but is not guaranteed. This content is for educational purposes only and does not constitute investment, legal, insurance, or tax advice. It is not an offer to buy or sell any product and does not represent an endorsement of third parties. All investments have inherent risks. Consult a financial advisor before investing. Individual results may vary. The show is pre-recorded. Money on Your Mind, produced by Edelman Financial Engines and hosted by Michael Liersch.